Jason's ship landed gently on the strange planet. The sky was a soft purple, and tall trees with silver leaves swayed in a quiet breeze. This place was far from Earth, deep in a distant galaxy. Jason, a human explorer, had been sent to learn about new worlds and their people. He was calm but curious. Every new planet had its own rules and customs. Jason knew he must follow them to keep peace. As he stepped outside the ship, a figure approached him. She was unlike anyone he had ever seen, tall and graceful. Her skin shimmered softly with a light blue hue. Her eyes were large and bright, full of intelligence and pride. This was Lyra, a native of the planet, chosen to meet Jason and help him understand their ways. "Welcome to our world," Lyra said, her voice gentle but strong. "I'm your guide." Jason nodded and smiled. "Thank you, Lyra. I am honored to be here." They walked through the shimmering forest toward the city. The buildings looked like crystals grown from the ground, tall and clear. Lyra explained the basics of their society as they walked. "Our people have many laws to keep order and respect. One is a ceremony for visitors. It is how we show trust." Jason listened carefully. He felt a little nervous, but also respectful. He knew customs could seem strange to outsiders, but he wanted to learn and follow them. "What kind of ceremony?" Jason asked. Lyra hesitated, but then said, "Our law requires visitors to strip before the council. It is a sign that you come with no weapons or lies. It is how we show we accept each other openly." Jason's eyes widened slightly. "Strip? Like remove clothing?" Lyra nodded. "Yes. It is not shameful to us. It is a tradition. But I understand it can be difficult for others." Jason thought about it. On Earth, stripping was private and personal. Here, it was a symbol of honesty and respect. He admired how the aliens had a way to build trust so openly. "I will do whatever is needed," Jason said. "I respect your law." Lyra smiled softly. She felt a strange warmth in Jason's words. Humans were often seen as rough or careless by her people, but Jason's calm and gentle nature made her curious. "You are brave," she told him. "Not many visitors agree so quickly." They reached the city gates, where other aliens watched quietly. Some looked curious, others cold. Lyra knew the eyes were on her too. As Jason's guide, her reputation was at stake. If she failed to prepare him well, the council might be angry. Inside the council hall, large and shining, Jason met the elders. They were tall figures with serious faces. They watched Jason closely, then at Lyra. The air was tense. Jason bowed his head slightly to show respect. "We welcome you, human," the chief elder said. "You must follow our law. The ceremony will prove your honesty. You understand?" "Yes, I understand," Jason replied clearly. Lyra stayed near, ready to help. She saw Jason's eyes meet hers, calm and kind. It gave her hope. Maybe this human could change how her people saw outsiders. The next day, Jason prepared for the ceremony. He stood in a small room, alone, thinking about what lay ahead. He had never felt fear, but felt respect and a bit of nervousness. He understood that this ritual was important not just for him, but for the whole planet. Lyra came to his side. She did not say much, but gave him a small Tokana smooth stone from the planet's river. "This will remind you to stay strong," she said softly. Jason took the stone and smiled. "Thank you, Lyra. Your kindness means a lot." Outside, the council gathered. The law said the visitor must remove all clothing and present themselves without any hiding. It was not meant to shame, but to build trust. The aliens had no need for secrets, and the ceremony was sacred. When Jason entered the chamber, all eyes turned to him. He saw the seriousness, but also the hope that he would honor their ways. He began to remove his clothing slowly, never looking away from the elder's gaze. Lyra stood nearby, her heart beating fast. She was proud but worried. The ceremony was quiet, with no harsh words or judgment. Jason's calm presence softened the room. He did not seem afraid or ashamed. Instead, he showed respect and honesty. After the ceremony, the chief elder spoke. "You have honored our law. We see no threat in you." Jason nodded. "I am here to learn and to build friendship." Lyra smiled at him, feeling something new inside. She had followed the law. But Jason's gentle spirit had changed the meaning of the ritual for her. As the day ended, Lyra and Jason walked beneath the purple sky. They talked about their worlds, their hopes and fears. A connection grew, quiet but strong. Lyra wondered if this meeting could change more than just one law. Maybe, with time, humans and her people could find trust, not only in ceremonies, but in their hearts. Jason looked at Lyra and said, "Thank you for trusting me." She answered softly, "Thank you for your soft gaze." It changed everything. The morning sun cast a soft pink light over the crystal city. Jason and Lyra walked side by side, their steps light but full of purpose. Da-da-da-da. After the ceremony, their bond had quietly grown stronger, yet Lyra knew that their journey was only beginning. The eyes of the council and the people still watched them closely. "You handled the ceremony well," Lyra said, trying to smile. Jason shrugged gently. "I just wanted to show respect. It is different from Earth, but I understand why it matters." Here, Lyra nodded. Many visitors struggle with it. Some refuse and are sent away. As they walked through the marketplace, the strange and beautiful sights surrounded them. Aliens with shimmering skin and tall, slender bodies moved gracefully. Vendors sold glowing fruits and metals that shifted color. Yet beneath the beauty, Lyra felt the tension. The law was clear, but her people whispered doubts. Was it right to force such a ceremony? Especially on someone like Jason, who had shown nothing but kindness. That afternoon, Lyra took Jason to meet her family. Her parents were proud and cautious. Her mother, a wise woman with deep silver eyes, greeted Jason with polite curiosity. "You honor our laws," her mother said, "but some question if change is needed." Jason bowed respectfully. "I come as a friend. I believe every culture can grow stronger by learning from others." Her father smiled slightly. "Then you must be patient. Our customs are old and hold meaning." Lyra watched Jason carefully. She saw how he listened, how he tried to understand. This was different from many humans who had come before, loud and proud. Quick to judge later, Lyra and Jason returned to the council chamber. The elders awaited their report on the visitors. Progress, whispers had started to spread. Some elders saw Jason's calm nature as a threat to their strict laws. The chief elder spoke first. "Human, your actions after the ceremony are unusual. You show respect, but also softness." Jason replied, "I believe respect must come from kindness, not just laws." An elder named Rael frowned. "Our laws protect us. They keep our society strong. Your softness could weaken us." Lyra stepped forward. "Respect is important, but so is trust. Jason's honesty shows a way to build. Trust beyond fear." The room grew silent. The debate was clear. Tradition versus change. Outside, news of Jason and Lyra's bond spread among the people. Some admired it as a new beginning. Others saw it as dangerous. Lyra felt the pressure growing. She wondered if she had made the right choice in helping Jason that evening. Jason and Lyra sat beneath the stars, the cool air filled with quiet sounds of the forest. Jason looked at Lyra with gentle eyes. "I feel the weight of your people's doubts," he said softly. Lyra nodded. "They fear change, but I believe in what we share." Jason smiled. Sometimes the hardest battles are not fought with weapons, but with understanding. They talked long into the night, sharing stories of Earth and Lyra's world. They dreamed of a future where their peoples could live together in peace. The next day, tensions rose. A group of elders demanded a stricter ceremony for Jason, too. Test if his honesty was real. Lyra felt torn. She wanted to protect Jason, but knew the law must be respected. Jason prepared calmly for the new test. This time, it was not just about stripping, but answering questions about his past, his intentions, and his heart. The council wanted to know if he truly meant no harm, as he stood before the elders. Jason spoke honestly about his mission to learn and connect. His words were sincere, and his eyes never wavered. Lyra watched, proud and hopeful. The council slowly softened. They began to see Jason not as a threat, but as a symbol of what their world could become. After the test, the chief elder approached Jason. Your honesty and respect are clear. You honor our laws and our hearts. Jason bowed. Thank you. I hope this is only the beginning. Lyra smiled beside him. Together, they had taken the first steps toward change. But beyond the council chamber, some still whispered of fear and doubt. Old traditions were hard to change, and not all were ready. Lyra knew that the journey ahead would be difficult. She would have to stand strong with Jason by her side to help her people see that kindness could be their greatest strength. As the sun set over the Crystal City, Jason and Lyra looked toward the stars. Their bond was a small light in the vast darkness, but it was a start that could change everything. The days passed slowly on the alien planet. Jason and Lyra continued their work together, learning from each other. Lyra showed Jason the wonders of her world, the glowing forests, the quiet rivers, and the peaceful cities made of crystal and light. Jason shared stories of Earth, a blue and green planet far away, full of different people and cultures, but not all was peaceful. As Jason's presence grew familiar, the council's unease grew too. Some elders whispered and hidden. Halls worried that this human might change their traditions too much. The law that required visitors to strip was not just a ritual, it was a symbol of their strength and unity. To some, Jason's gentle way was a threat to everything they knew. One day Lyra was called to the council. The elders had questions and concerns. They asked if she believed the human's kindness was true, or just a trick to weaken their culture. Lyra stood tall and firm. Jason's kindness is real. I have seen his heart. We must learn from each other, not fear what is different. An elder named Varen, known for his strict views, scowled. Our laws protect us. If we let them fall, our people will lose their way. Lyra looked him in the eye. And if we do not change, we risk being left behind. The council debated, long and hard. Lyra's words had planted a seed, but tradition held strong roots. They decided to watch Jason closely, to see if his presence brought peace or trouble. Back in the city, Jason noticed the change in the air. Some aliens smiled and greeted him warmly while others kept their distance, their eyes cold and wary. He understood the challenge. Earning trust was not easy, especially when centuries of law stood in the way. One evening, Lyra invited Jason to a gathering of young aliens who wanted to see the world differently. They met in a quiet garden, filled with silver flowers that shone. Under the moonlight, the young ones asked Jason about Earth, his people, and how humans treated strangers. Jason spoke honestly. On Earth, we are many kinds of people. Some are kind, some are not. But we believe the best way to grow is to listen and understand, not fear. The young aliens listened, their eyes wide with curiosity. They felt hope in his words, hope that their world could be more open, more kind. But not everyone was happy. Rumors spread that Jason planned to break the law and change the ceremony forever. A group of traditionalists confronted Lyra. You trust a human over our laws, one said angrily. This will bring shame. Lyra stood her ground.
Our laws
are important, but they must serve the people, not bind them. Jason has shown respect and honesty. That is true strength. The tension grew. Lyra knew that soon, a final decision would come from the council, a choice between holding on to old ways or embracing a new future. One night, Jason dreamed of Earth. He missed its blue oceans and green forests, but he also dreamed of Lyra's world, a place full of light and hope. He wished he could bring the two worlds together, not as enemies, but as friends. The next morning, Lyra and Jason prepared to speak before the full council. The hall was packed with elders, leaders, and citizens. The air was thick with anticipation. Lyra began. Stand at a crossroads. The ceremony is a sign of trust, but trust must come from the heart, not only from rituals. Jason has shown us a way to build that trust with kindness and respect. Jason stepped forward. I honor your laws and your people. I ask only that you see me as I am, not as a threat, but as a friend. Together we can build a future where different worlds understand each other. The council murmured. Some nodded. Slowly, others looked away. Then Varen rose, his voice loud and firm. Our laws are our strength. To change them is to risk our future. But I see the courage in your words. Maybe it is time to listen. After long silence, the chief elder spoke. We will take time to decide. This is not a choice to make lightly. Lyra and Jason left the hall, their hearts heavy but hopeful. Days turned to weeks. The council met often. Meanwhile, Jason and Lyra continued their work, teaching and learning, building friendships among the people. Finally, the council returned with a decision. They would allow changes to the ceremony to make it more about trust and less about strict rules. Visitors would no longer be forced to strip if they showed honesty and respect in other ways. The news spread quickly. Some celebrated, others grumbled, but a new chapter had begun. Lyra and Jason stood together as the city welcomed new visitors without fear. The old laws had softened, and the future looked brighter. As they watched the stars, Lyra smiled. We have changed, Jason. Together. Jason nodded, and we will keep changing as long as we remember kindness. Their story became a symbol, a proof that even the hardest laws can bend when faced with soft eyes and open hearts. The city buzzed with quiet excitement. The council's decision to soften the ceremony had shaken the old order, but many welcomed the change. Visitors no longer had to strip unless they chose to, if they showed honesty and respect in other ways. It was a new era for Lyra's people, one born from trust and kindness. Jason and Lyra walked through the crystal streets, feeling the weight of their achievement, but also knowing the road ahead would still be long. Change was never easy, especially when old fears lingered like shadows. Do you think everyone will accept this? Jason asked quietly. Lyra looked at the faces around them, some smiling, some uncertain. Not yet. But we have started something important. Their bond had become stronger with every passing day. What began as guide and visitor had grown into a deep friendship, built on trust and understanding. They often spoke of hopes beyond their worlds, a future where humans and aliens could live and work together. One afternoon, a message arrived from a neighboring planet. It warned of a group that opposed the new changes, planning to send a fleet to enforce the old laws by force if necessary. Fear and anger had not disappeared everywhere. The council called an emergency meeting. The elders gathered in the grand hall, tension thick in the air. Lyra and Jason stood together as the chief elder addressed the group. We face a threat not only from outside but within. Those who fear change seek to divide us. Jason stepped forward. Violence will only bring pain. We must show strength in peace and unity. Some elders nodded, others frowned. The choice was clear: defend their new way or risk war to keep. Old traditions, Lyra felt her heart tighten. She knew the decision they made would shape their future, and not just for her people but for Jason's as well. That night, Lyra and Jason stood on a high balcony overlooking the city. The stars glittered above like distant hopes. I never imagined that following a simple law would lead to this, Jason said softly. Lyra smiled sadly. Laws can be powerful. They protect, but they can also bind. It takes courage to break the chains. They vowed to stand together and face whatever came. Their friendship was more than two people. It was a bridge between worlds. The next days were filled with preparation. Defenders trained quietly, ready to protect the city, but hoping to avoid bloodshed. Messengers traveled to nearby planets, asking for allies who believed in peace. When the fleet arrived, massive ships casting shadows over the city, the people held their breath. But instead of immediate attack, the fleet's leader requested a meeting to judge if the new ways were truly honest. Lyra and Jason met the commander under the purple sky. The commander was fierce but curious. Watching Jason closely, "Your people say you have changed the law," the commander said. "We must see if this is true." Jason nodded. "We invite you to judge us by our actions, not just words." But Commander agreed to attest a challenge of trust and strength without violence. Over weeks, Jason and Lyra worked with the commander and his officers, showing them the city, its people, and the new ceremonies. The visitors saw kindness and respect, not weakness. Slowly, the commander's hard gaze softened. He saw a future where different worlds could join in peace. When the final council met, the commander spoke. Your courage to change without war is rare. I will return to my fleet with respect. Cheers filled the city. The threat of violence had passed. Lyra and Jason knew their fight was far from over. Change was slow, but hope now burned brighter than ever. As they looked to the stars that night, Lyra whispered, "Our world is changing." Jason smiled, and it's just the beginning. Their story became a beacon, proof that soft eyes and gentle hearts could shape even the hardest laws, and that trust was the strongest weapon of all. The city was alive with celebration. After the fleet commander's respect and the council's decision, a new peace settled over Lyra's world. The people began to open their hearts, embracing the changes that Jason and Lyra had helped bring. Markets buzzed, music filled the streets, new visitors arrived without fear of harsh rituals. But Lyra knew that true change was not just in laws or ceremonies, it was in people's hearts. She watched Jason closely, seeing how his calm kindness touched those around him, humans and aliens alike. His soft gaze had sparked something deep within her people. One morning, Lyra received a message from a distant planet. It was an invitation to speak at a gathering of leaders from many worlds. They wanted to hear how her people had changed, and what role the human visitor had played. The council agreed it was a chance to share their story, a story of courage, its kindness and trust. Lyra and Jason prepared for the journey, knowing it could shape the future of many worlds as they traveled through the stars. Lyra and Jason reflected on all they had faced. From the first ceremony where Lyra guided Jason to strip, to the tense council meetings, to the arrival of the fleet that nearly brought war, her journey had tested them, but also brought them closer. At the gathering, leaders from many planets listened as Lyra told their story. She spoke of the old law, the ceremony, and how a human's soft gaze had changed everything. Jason added his voice, speaking of respect and the power of kindness. The leaders were moved. Some shared stories of their own worlds, where fear and strict laws kept peoples apart. They saw hope in Lyra and Jason's tale, a proof that even the hardest customs could bend when met with understanding. After the speeches, the leaders agreed to work together to build bridges between worlds through trust and peace. They planned new ways to welcome visitors, respecting each culture, but open to change. Lyra and Jason returned home as heroes. Their people celebrated not only the change in law, but the new hope for the galaxy. But Lyra's heart was quiet. She knew that change could be fragile. Old fears still lived in shadows, waiting for a chance to return. One evening, Lyra and Jason walked in the silver forest. The leaves whispered softly in the wind. "What if they never accept this?" Lyra asked. "What if fear wins again?" Jason took her hand gently. "Then we keep showing kindness. We stand together. Change takes time," Lyra smiled, feeling strength in his words. She looked at the stars, shining bright and endless. "We have come far," she said, "and we will go farther." Their story was no longer just theirs. It belonged to all who dreamed of a better future. A future where laws served people, not bound them. Where soft eyes and open hearts could change even the hardest rules. As they stood beneath the glowing sky, Lyra knew that whatever came next, she and Jason would face it side by side, proof that trust and kindness were the greatest forces in the galaxy. The city rested quietly under the soft light of twin moons. Lyra and Jason stood on a high balcony overlooking the peaceful streets below. The air was cool and calm, but their hearts knew the journey was far from over. Change had come, but it was just the beginning of a new story for their worlds. Jason looked at Lyra, his eyes gentle and steady. "We have shown that kindness can break old fears, but it will take time for trust to grow fully." Lyra nodded. "Our people are learning, some with joy, some with doubt, but the path is open." They remembered the first day they met, when the alien law demanded Lyra guide Jason to strip as a sign of trust. A simple law, yet one so powerful it shaped their entire culture. But Jason's soft gaze had changed its meaning. It was no longer a forced ritual, but a symbol of true respect between two beings. Their bond had grown beyond ceremony. It was a bridge between worlds one morning. As the city woke with gentle light, Lyra received a message. A group of young aliens who had once opposed change now invited her and Jason to speak at their council. It was a chance to reach new hearts and minds. The gathering hall was filled with fresh faces, curious and eager. Lyra spoke first, sharing stories of how laws could change when met with kindness. Jason followed. We all come from different worlds, but we share one truth: respect and trust build stronger futures than fear. The young ones listened, their eyes shining with hope. Many approached them afterward, asking questions and offering friendship. Lyra smiled, feeling the promise of tomorrow. Yet in the quiet corners of the city, some still whispered doubts. Old fears stirred like shadows, reminding them that progress was fragile. One night, Lyra and Jason walked through the glowing forests outside the city. Silver leaves rustled softly around them. "Sometimes I wonder," Lyra said, "will our worlds ever truly understand each other?" Jason squeezed her hand gently. "With patience and kindness, we will." Every step forward matters. They paused beneath a tree that shimmered with soft light. Lyra looked up at the stars, their endless glow reminding her of the vast possibilities. "Our story," she said, "is not just about laws or ceremonies. It is about people, about hearts willing to change." Jason smiled, and about soft gazes that see beyond fear. Their journey had shown that even the oldest laws could bend. Trust was the strongest bond of all. As dawn painted the sky with gentle colors, Lyra and Jason knew they had become part of something greater. A new beginning for their worlds and for the galaxy. Their story would be told for generations, a tale of courage, kindness, and the power of one gentle gaze to change everything.